Welcome, everybody, to Daytona International Speedway, here for the Palm Rat Road and Plate Truck Series. I am Sean Signori in the booth up here with my buddy Big Al, and we got a hot and heavy one coming to you tonight from the Super Speedway High Banks. Daytona was is our fifth race here on the schedule after a kind of a decent race at last week at Barber Motorsports Park. Aaron Smith going for two in a row here tonight. Who you got your eye on out here, Big Al?
I don't know, man. I've been watching a lot of guys go round and round in circles, and even though we got some fast times out there, man, I don't know if I can put my finger on one just yet. But I think I'd probably go with that. I'd probably hit with the 18 of Ryan Campbell.
I'd say that is a good pick. Somebody to look out for tonight. With it being a crapshoot, though, any one of these trucks has a shot at winning this race, especially with the temperature being as high as it is. It's a 77 air temp, but on the track it is pretty hot, 102 degrees right there on the track. So we might even see some engines getting hot, maybe some people not being able to push the whole way around. As we go and take a look at our point standings leaving Barber Motorsports Park last week. A little bit of a shakeup there at the top with Joseph Klein still in growing that lead over Jimmy Moore and Ryan Campbell in second and third. But Aaron Smith, after that big win, able to climb up the standings into fourth. But I got to say, that momentum riding on board that 14 of Joseph Klein, it has been pretty strong here to start with 3 straight podiums to start off the season. Big Al, who you got your eye on in the point standings?
Man, I think I'm going to go with the guy that's in the lead of the point standings because he seems to be the one guy that's doing everything right.
That's very true. He's been doing a lot of things right to start the year, starting it off with a win in San Diego. But if there's a race or a track that it can all go wrong, it is tonight, especially with the whole pack of trucks beating on that rear tailgate. As we switch over to our schedule, leaving Daytona, gonna have a pretty typical road course going to Watkins Glen next week, and then it's gonna be an off week for these guys, maybe to fix up some trucks and get their bearings put back together, and then we come back to Michigan International Speedway for the wild card, Portland International, another super speedway race at Talladega, and then we go overseas to the Bend, back to Daytona, and then we end it in Europe at Le Mans. Bag out some pretty good tracks coming up. I think Watkins Glen might be one to watch, especially with that being such a familiar track for some of these stock car guys.
Yeah, but I guarantee you a lot of these guys will want to get back to that high pace racing. So I think Michigan's going to be a track that a lot of guys are going to go ahead and earmark on their calendar because that's going to give them the true opportunity to get out there. And it's not a track that you just drive wide open. You actually have to drive it as well.
Yeah, it definitely is a wild card considering, it's the Road and Plate Truck Series going to Michigan, not necessarily a plate track, but it kind of races like a plate track with these trucks putting such a big hole into the air. Got qualifying going on right now at this moment. Only got couple minutes left in qualifying. We're going to step away, get some word in from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with your starting grid and the sprint race. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Qualifying still going on. Got the 44 Mark Royce sitting on the provisional pole. So we head over to our stories of the race. First one is going to be track position, also vital here at the super speedways. If you're going to miss the big wreck, you gotta be in front of it. Big Al, what's your favorite strategy to missing that big wreck? Because everybody's got a different one, and it tends to work out for very few here at Daytona.
I think you gotta race the track and you gotta be cognizant of where you're at all day. It's gonna be a long day, so you just keep that in mind. You try to keep your temperatures down, and keep your lines clean.
For sure. And that's, big ask here sometimes at these sort of racetracks. Teamwork. It's one of our, perennial stories of the races when we're here at these super speedways. You don't necessarily pick who you run with at the end, but you're going to have to run with them either whether you like them or not. Ain't that right, Big Al?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing these drivers are going to have to keep in mind. We got a lot of teams out here tonight, and we got some privateers. Guys are going to have to be cognizant and keep their options open, if you will, because you just never know who's going to be around at the end of this.
Very true. Surviving to the end is always going to be most important here at Daytona. Pit road as well. We've seen pit road play a factor in our 2 plate races so far this year in the feature races. What about this pit road makes it so difficult?
Well, the biggest thing is you're coming down from such a high rate of speed, and drivers are all trying to hit that same entry point. So if these pit stops happen under green flag conditions, yeah, it's definitely going to get sporty. Hopefully, though, we'll have a couple cautions there, at least one, and these guys will be able to go down there nice and slow, and they won't have to work hard.
Yeah, we don't want to work too hard tonight. Or maybe we do. Who knows? And the last story of the night is that 11th position invert, almost a throwback to last year, where we had it on the top 10 week in and week out. Now it's at a random draw, and the 11th position is still pretty far back in that field. So that winner of the sprint race, he's going to have to start pretty far back if he's going to have to go 2 for 2.
Yeah, indeed. And that's going to go right into track position. So starting this thing right off in the 11th when we kick it off there for the main event, that could be a little troublesome. Some guys are going to try to stay it out in the back. Some guys are going to go ahead and kick it. And I think we're going to see 3 wide racing here sooner than later tonight.
Going to see a lot of 3 wide racing for sure. Will we see 4 wide is almost the big question. And what lap will that big wreck kick off on? That's another one of the big questions tonight. Got the trucks lining up on pit road now. We're going to scoot away to our starting grid. On the pole, Mark Royce actually was our big winner a couple weeks ago in the feature race at Talladega. Is always shown a lot of speed here at these plate tracks. He is starting on the pole. Alongside him, the Yellow Submarine of Aaron Smith, our big winner of both races last week in Barber Motorsports Park. Daniel Foss, a good qualifying run out of that 83 truck. He's going to be starting 3rd. And Evan Hubchak in that 7 Palmrat Ford, he's going to be starting in 4th. Starting 5th, another great qualifying run here for Josh Coppernoll. Had a good run in the Talladega race a couple weeks ago, looking to build off of that with a 5th place starting spot. And Kevin Parrish, new to the series, has had a couple good runs. He is going to be starting in the 6th spot. Daniel Ott in that 29 car, the Chameleon, always changing colors. He's going to be starting in 7th. And Michael McCoy, still learning these plate tracks, but a good speed in that 33 truck tonight. He's going to be starting in 8th. Starting in 9th, another good qualifying run for the 60 of Steve Vest. Is he able to build off of that with a good finish tonight? And Chris Winslow starting next to him in the 45 in 10th.
Yeah, that's going to put Ryan Campbell in the 11th place position with Mike Thompson on his outside at the 115. 13th place going to show us Wayne Garland, and he's going to have Robert Brost alongside him. Then we've got 15th place with Benson Weaver, and Jay Bast is going to be on his outside. 17th place shows Zachary Mitchell in the 23 truck, and he'll have Brandon Carl on his outside in the 77. Rounding out the top 20 is going to be Sean Campbell and Laura Wiseman.
Starting 21st tonight, Andrew White in that 3 truck, a good plate racer, and Stam Stoner running the imposter scheme in the 65 is starting 22nd. Tom Waite in the 28 is going to be starting in 23rd, running a Harry Gant throwback tonight. Aaron Bray starting 24th in that 11 truck. Jimmy Moore going to be taken up towards the rear of the field tonight in that 12 truck. Starting next to him, Johnny Rapp, fan favorite, in the 52. And our final row tonight is going to be Chase Berry. Came oh so close from that win at Talladega a couple weeks ago. And Sean Johnson is starting in 28th. Well, Big Al coming down for the green flag. We only got about 16 laps here in this sprint race. It's going to be hot and it's going to be heavy.
Yeah, it's almost going to be like a final 10 countdown. So expect these guys to truly put their feet in it. And we are off and away.
Mark Royce getting an early jump there in the 44. He's going to pull down over underneath the yellow line. I believe that is a black flag for the 44 for jumping the start. Not what he needed in these restart zones. You have to wait for the green. I think he just went just a little too early. But that is going to really spread this field out coming through turns 1 and 2. Aaron Smith takes over the lead, but a big head of steam behind coming for the 83.
Yeah, that's definitely going to go ahead and pull that 44 kind of down and out just a little bit. We'll be watching to see exactly what he's doing back there by himself. But up front, that 70 truck, watch him go.
Here comes the big push from the 7 to the back bumper of Daniel Foss up front. Number 83, Daniel Foss takes the lead, pulls down in front of Aaron Smith. Aaron's going to be coming down this time as well. He also has a black flag. Not sure what his is for, but there's your front row already taken out of this race.
Yeah, that front row is having a hard time getting situated as well as started. But now we got to keep going, baby. We got bills to pay. That high line getting it done right now, making all of the marbles work.
We got a crash. I see Jimmy Moore going around, Laura Wiseman, Aaron Bray all going around. This is going to be the caution. That front row needs to potentially stay out on the lead lap with Mark Royce and Aaron Smith getting lucky right there, but unlucky for the middle of the pack here. We check it out on the replay. Looks like a checkup on the top line, and then a 12 truck just going around with contact from Aaron Bray. Not as big as it could have been, Big Al, but that's definitely a race changer here early on.
Yeah, it was definitely big enough, and it was the one thing that a lot of these drivers needed to see. And I know that's probably weird right there because, you got to go back to the drawing board and figure out, hey, what is not working? These trucks, they can be a little bouncy back there, especially in that rough air, but whatever took place right there, it did not work.
Yeah, it seems to kick off when the 12 truck got into the back of Laura Wiseman as we ride on board with Aaron Bray right here. See the contact ahead of him, nowhere for Aaron to go. And those checkups, they start happening there about a lap and a half, 2 laps into the race. And there was the checkup just causing a little bit of an incident.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could see exactly what checkup was in front of Wiseman, but we'll see that later. That was just kind of unfortunate for everybody right there.
Yeah, I just think it was just a natural checkup of everybody getting into line all at one spot together, especially after how the field was so spread out coming across that first lap. And then, they're all going to accordion back into each other. And that's when that first big checkup happens. And there we go. Away it goes. And up front, Evan Hubchak just taking the lead right before the caution came out. But this race already has a different look to it after only 3 laps under green. Under caution now, but only 3 laps. We got a different look up front with Evan Hubchak, Daniel Foss, Daniel Ott, and Kevin Parrish rounding out that top 4. Big Al's pick, Ryan Campbell, up 6 spots already into that 5th position. Now, Big Al, one thing that we know is these guys got a fast repair in the pits waiting for them, but it really isn't that good to use it this early on in the race.
Absolutely not. You want to try to hold on to that thing as long as possible, and wearing it out in the heat race is probably not the look that you're going for. It's just one of those things where we say you just kind of you got to keep your head on a swivel, and you see how quickly that turned, man. A lot of drivers just know where to go.
Getting the green flag this time around. One of the big losers in that wreck was Tom Waite. He had to tow back to the pits, and that does not allow you to get back there quickly, and he's going to lose a couple laps just waiting for the tow truck to pick him up and bring him back to the pit road. Lining up here down the back straightaway. Already got about 12 laps to go when we go green. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of those trucks that were just involved in that wreck. They're going to be pushing their way up to the front of this field in a hurry, even though 12 laps is a long way around here, Big Al.
Yeah, some of these guys aren't going to have a choice. They're going to get sucked around this thing because once that green flag flies, baby, you're really going to have to go. If you don't go, you're going to find yourself getting run over, and that's just not going to wear out well either. So no matter what happens here, when that flag changes colors, you better be running.
You better be running.
That's what I got.
Sure. It's what you got, but you're right on the money because you got to keep that truck running, and you can't be like the 28, unfortunately, sitting on pit road waiting for the tow around.
Yeah.
Well, Mark Royce was not able to get on the lead lap with that yellow, but Aaron Smith in the 70 was, as we line up and come back for the green flag. Evan Hoopchak going to be leading them down. 12 laps to go here in Daytona. How long can these guys keep you together before we see another one of those yellow flags play a factor?
Right now, that start looks clean and green. 2 lines definitive breaking out right now. Lead truck got his line right now. Going to decide if he wants to go high or low. Still has the option. Is right there behind him. Still got a solid push.
Daniel Ott giving that push to the 7 of Hoopchak, but here comes Daniel Foss on the outside line, getting that push from the 69 of Parrish. They're going to be side by side for the lead down into turn 3. Parrish, new to the series, came away with a couple podium finishes last week at Barber, really making a statement to these guys that he is somebody they're going to have to watch out for week in and week out.
Ooh, shuffles going through the back of the field there. So everybody's trying to figure out what their real estate situation is. Almost got a 3 wide going back there.
Oh, Parrish in the wall. Sorry, Big Al. Looks like Coppernoll tried to stick his nose up the middle, and that 69 just grabbed a little piece of the wall. That's going to break up that top line. McCoy's going to try to go through the middle there, and Parrish is going to be seeing himself go to the middle of the pack. Not what he wanted to see with track position being so important tonight, but that's definitely something Daniel Foss wanted to see as he is up front and leading that inside line by himself.
Yep, but that third row, that high line is starting to develop. And those trucks right now, they are literally crabbing their way across, pulling the faster trucks back down in, getting situated back towards the back. It kind of fell off as it got towards the front, but going to see if they can put that back together because, hey, with 10 to go, that's going to be about what you want to see.
You saw it on your screen, the 33 of Michael McCoy bail out of the pack and head down onto pit road. Not sure why here at this moment, but he's going to take himself out of the running for this moment, as you see Jimmy Moore getting a big push right there from Chase Berry. Chase Berry out here with something to prove tonight, came oh so close to winning that race at Talladega just a couple weeks ago. You know he's going to have that chip on his shoulder to get the victory lane tonight.
Yeah, everybody's going to have to chip in, especially for the beginning of this, because it's a long way to the end of this thing, and you're going to try to do it with everything intact. So driver's going to have to it's going to be an accident.
There we go. Robert Brobes getting tagged right there from the middle line. You see Aaron Smith involved as that 5 car slides through the grass, and it wasn't long, Big Al, before we got another wreck. You see Andrew White go barreling down onto that pit road. Need to find your brakes there, son.
Yeah, let's watch this.
Another incident here kicking off. Yeah, it was looks like some shuffling going on there, big in the middle of the big pack there, Big Al.
Indeed. Oh, that 3 truck gets a little loose there, and he's going to catapult down into the 69, and that's just going to cause a chain of events that just worked out in the negative for quite a few drivers. There's that second mini big one gets going. You'll see it right here.
Looks like some contact between Parrish and Andrew White. Andrew White, yeah, coming down just a little bit into Parrish's lane, and then it all goes sideways from there. See other trucks involved. Aaron Smith, Stam Stoner, Robert Brobes. A lot of really good trucks getting themselves in bad position. You have to wonder how many of these guys already used that fast repair. I know at least a couple of them might have already done that.
Yeah, it looks more like that 3 and the 30. The 3 was trying to get away from running into the 30, came down into the line of that other truck, and that it's, you know, and back in the back, these guys were definitely trying to make it work. They were doing everything in their power.
Yeah, nowhere for Robert Brobes to go. Just riding along, minding his own business on the inside, gets right hooked. You see the 35 of Wayne Garland involved as well. About a 10 truck accident coming across the start finish line there. See these trucks head down the pit road to try to get some damage fixed if they don't have that fast repair waiting for them. But you see, Big Al, just how quickly these races can go awry. Kevin Parrish was up front in that top 5, and next time around he was getting wrecked across the start-finish line. You lose that track position, you find yourself in the middle of the pack, and next thing you know, you're in the middle of the storm as it's all kicking off.
Yeah, he definitely was not expecting that to take place, man. And so here we are right now, going to be down the end of this thing here. Well, 5 laps to go. Seven laps to go.
To go at the line, yeah. Daniel Foss, his caution flags have kind of played into his hands. He's been able to hold on to that track position that he benefited from at the start with the front row getting black flags there. He found himself cycled up to the leader by default, and he's been able to hold on to that position.
Yeah, it's a worst case scenario for the guys up front. They're still going to stay up front. And the guys in the back, well, they're still going to stay in the back. So the plan is, if you got a truck fast enough to get up front, I think it's going to come down to 3 lines. So it's not really going to go that far back in order to try to find that inverting 11, if you will. But I do think that you want to be closer to the front of this thing because that's going to give you the best track position you can get.
Yeah, most definitely you want to get to the front, get some points, and, going into the feature race, you can move around and gain position there. So we're going to go one more time around on the pace car. It's going to be extended by a lap. So one more caution lap is coming up. It's going to shorten this race by 1 lap. We're going to go green with 6 to go.
And, if you're still up front of this thing, you can let it hang out a little bit. Just try not to tear the truck up. I mean, does that fast repair does it transfer over to the second half, or is it just one for all day?
I believe they get one as well in the second race.
Oh, yeah, baby. I'm going for it. Especially if I'm up front, I'm letting it hang. We're going to get it.
And knowing that you got that fast repair in your back pocket, kind of allows these guys to go a little crazier here for this 16-lap sprint race. And you're seeing it right now with 2 quick, big ones in succession.
And I think they're definitely not going to waste any time getting it stacked up, because with 5 laps to go, it's going to take you that first full lap just to get up to speed, right? And so by then you're trying to figure out where you fit in because some of these trucks are faster than the others. So there's going to be a lot of shuffling going on down there.
One truck that's been doing a lot of shuffling I got my eye on is that 12 of Jimmy Moore. He started in the back, was involved in that first wreck, moved himself up into the top 10 before that second wreck kicked off. And, he's up 17 positions from his starting position, but he's definitely passed more trucks than that so far in this race. Only needs to get about 8 more trucks to get to the front, but those are going to be the hard ones to pass.
Yeah, indeed. Every pass you make right now from this point on in the evening is going to be a hard pass. Sometimes that's a good thing.
Shout out
Sometimes it's not.
Well. I just want to give some love to that 60 truck of Steve Vest. Usually not one of the trucks up front week in and week out, but tonight is going to be different. He has been up front since the start of this sprint race, holding on to that top 10 position. Let's see if is managing to finish there at the end of this next 6 little laps of chaos that's about to kick off. Daniel Foss leading them down into the restart zone. Tucked up behind him is the chameleon Dan Ott as we get the green flag going. A big jump for the 83. That might not be good as they come back around to that backstretch. Might be too big of a jump for the Daniel Foss in the 83.
They're definitely going to suck him back in, and he's going to feel that freight train coming right back on him. High line, bottom line right now. These guys side by side duking it out still. Top line is going to start to develop.
Here comes Coppernoll making it too wide. Sorry there, Big Al. Coppernoll getting a big push from Jimmy Moore. We talked about him lining up before the start, and Jimmy's going to go 3 wide in the middle. And we got another incident coming down the backstretch there. No caution right now at the moment. We are still green flag. Got about a 10 truck pack that has broken away from the second half of the field because of that little bit of a scurry going halfway down the backstretch there with Steve Vest involved. Not what he wanted to see with a good run going so far, but this racing right now for second place and for the lead getting pretty crazy as we got Coppernoll and Hoopjack battling up front for that top spot.
Yeah, that 12 truck getting bounced all over the place there as he is in that buffeting zone trying to keep his line. We are definitely 3 wide right now, and like I said, hey, 3 by 3 by 3, it won't take long to get to the 11. Now, these guys are still going to have to try not to crash it, not just yet. You want to wreck it till you're going across the line.
And here comes Coppernoll with a big push from Chase Berry. Oh, Daniel Foss up the racetrack. Around goes Jimmy Moore up into Aaron Smith. Caution is out. Ryan Campbell also involved. And there's a couple trucks up front getting into it and getting involved. More trucks towards the back also careening into that wreck. You see Daniel Foss just move himself up the racetrack into the side of Jimmy Moore. And they all start piling in behind him as they were about that 2-3 second gap behind, and just nowhere for those fellas to go as well.
Yeah, Aaron Smith's also going to get caught up in that, and he's going to get a beat ball flag right alongside Mr. Jimmy Moore.
And those are two trucks that have already used that fast repair, so that's a meatball flag they're going to have to wait for. As you see the truck slowing down, trying to get through it, and bam, more involved. Robert Brobst, Mark Royce. Couple of our favorites all taken out in that crash right there. You see everybody trying to check up for that wreck. You see the 44 was involved. The 5, Robert Brobst, not happy about it. That was definitely, that felt like a big one there, Big Al, just with some of those names that are caught up in that mess.
I mean, if we're sitting here looking at it, you want to go ahead and call it what it is. I'll vouch for you, baby, because hey, look, just this heat race, we were already seeing that it has been eventful. That will be exactly what I would call it. And this is any inclination of what we're going to receive here going forward. I'm all about it.
Watching the replay of those trucks getting into it in the back, nowhere for Mark Royce to go, and Robert Brobst got a little help from behind, getting catapulted into that wreck. Definitely a pretty big incident. What do you think about pulling somebody up here in the booth real quick, getting some words from some of these competitors? Chase Berry, it's the boys in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, I got you. What's up?
Well, we saw you come super close, and we talked to you just a little bit before the ending there of that Talladega race. Well, here you are up front again as we line up for a green-white checkered here at Daytona. What are the plans on the 17 car? What's on your mind?
Probably just gonna push the 7. If I can, just push the 7 the whole way. He's just hopefully hold it still. I'm gonna push him, and that's about it. That's what the plan is.
So you're not going to try to make that move? Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, I mean, I will never say never, but like just with the 42, the 42 is kind of aggressive, and I don't really know any guys that are. But right now, I'm just gonna shove the 7 and give him a Christmas gift, I guess, is the plan.
Well, that is the plan. Hopefully the plan goes together. Came also close to that race win at Talladega. You using that as maybe a little bit of that bargaining chip tonight, knowing that you got something to prove. You got one that maybe got away from you.
To be honest with you, I'm racing like I'm ready to go to bed. So if I wreck out, I wreck out. To be honest with you,
that's always a fun place to be. You wreck out, you can just go chill and go to bed.
Exactly. I gotta work in the morning.
Well, good luck to you, man. Gonna have 2 laps to get it done. We're gonna be rooting for you here up in the booth.
I appreciate it. Hopefully I get to talk to you guys soon.
Talk to you soon. That was Chase Berry in that 17. Big Al, some big confidence out of him that he's gonna be able to push that 7 and get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think he might. It's a good chance he's going to leave that 7 hanging because once it gets down to the stretch, I mean, he's really going to have to look out for himself because, I mean, it's not just about transferring; it's also about winning.
And you see that checkered flag start waving, you start getting ideas, and one of those ideas is going to be to move out and win it for yourself. But here we are, green-white checkered to finish this sprint race. Evan Hoopjack, Josh Coppernoll on the front row. Both of these guys looking for a big win here tonight.
Nobody fantasizes about losing.
Nobody does. As the green flag waves, 2 laps to go across the line. pretty good connections up front as the 17 gets to the back of the 7. Coppernoll a little bit off of that 29 truck of Daniel Ott, but the field behind him starting to get organized. Let's see how big that momentum is coming down the backstretch.
The 17's doing exactly what he said. Is he's got his nose very deep within the 7 truck. 2 trucks on the high side. They're starting to get hooked up. But the story right now, the lead 4 off for a little stroll, but here comes the freight train.
Momentum on the outside line. Coppernoll is going to be able to get the push from the 29 and take the lead. Here comes Ryan Campbell up through the middle with a push from Sean Johnson. They're all going to accordion together down into 3 and 4, holding it together right now for the moment. Oh, around goes the 42. Big wreck coming off of turn 4.
Everybody.
Everybody's going to be involved in this one. I'm counting 4 trucks coming across the line. Is the 42 just getting a right hook there coming off of turn 4, fighting for the lead.
That's the wreck that kept giving.
That was the wreck that kept giving. You see contact with the 29 of Daniel Ott, and just about everybody behind them with nowhere to go starts piling into that one.
So now once we get this, let's unpack this first. Just a lot of swaying there.
Yeah, a lot of moving around, and someone's going to eventually get clipped. And to see the 52 go down, hit the inside wall hard. A couple trucks are going to be sliding on the pit road. We're going to have some black flags. We're going to have some meatballs, and we're going to have another short field here lining up for this restart.
Yeah, definitely. Once we unpack fast repairs, meatballs, and black flags, because, you know, like you said, some cars did actually appear to cross that line. So this is going to be interesting to say the least.
Coppernoll almost trying to look in his mirror and watch the lanes behind him, just moving around quite a bit. Daniel Ott coming down just a tiny bit. The contact is made, and around they all go as you ride on board with Ryan Campbell. Believe that was the 32 he had just tapped, or the 1 truck actually, a Benson Weber he had tapped trying to get through. But that was the real big one of the race there, Big Al.
Yeah, indeed. Got that one in there just in the nick of time, because now here we are 3 laps to go in this thing. This is going to be a green-white shootout for a heat race, and then we'll be kicking it off for the main event here, minus the inversion, man. And I'm telling you, if this excitement that we've been presented with continues, it's going to be a barn burner.
Yeah, it's a little bit unusual for this series. They're usually pretty clean and green on the super speedways, but tonight it just seems like everybody's taking a little bit of a chaotic pill, and they're putting it to use. And there's just been a lot of contact, a lot of little patience out there to give, little room to give, and here we are, our 3rd caution in 15 laps. But we were just so close from getting that white flag, and we'll see if we're going to be able to get around one more time. I believe there's only one chance at a green-white checkered in the sprint race, so whatever flag comes out next is going to end it.
X flag is going to indeed bring this one to a screeching halt.
Well, a kink in the plans for Chase Berry. He was going to be pushing at 7 of Hubchak all the way around, and now he's going to be lining up to the outside beside him. Behind him is the 54, Sean Campbell, holding on to some damage. I know that is not what Chase Berry wanted to see in his rearview mirror. So maybe that inside line is poised and in position to possibly get away here at this restart. Jay Bass lining up in that 3rd spot. Ever so steady, comes home with the good finishes week in and week out, putting himself in position to possibly win this sprint race. Well, 2 laps to go, Big Al. I think we're going to have ourselves one hell of a mess coming around for the next 5 miles.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's definitely going to be one to hold your breath for.
Hubchak leading, coming down into that starting zone. Next to him, Chase Berry, both looking for their first wins of the season and possibly of their careers here in the Road and Plate Truck Series. Into the restart zone we go. Green flag is out. Another good jump for Hubchak, but that 53 and 17 right there with him. Campbell not getting the start he needed. He's going to get spun by Stam Stoner. Caution is out. That is going to end this race. Who was up front when the yellow came out? I'm getting the 7 of Evan Hubchak.
Yeah, it might have been the 17 too. We're gonna have to see how this one plays out.
Who was up front? They are still side by side, and we weren't even able to get the fourth gear that time. As you see the 54, we called out he had some damage there, riding on board, just not getting up through the gears, slow on power. Stoner's going to put his nose up into the middle. 54 going to try to block, and around he goes. And some more trucks are going to be getting involved as well.
What are your thoughts on that entire situation, calamity?
Well, I feel bad almost for the 54 because he's out there riding with the damage. You know, you want to try to get the best finish you can, but if you're not going to be able to get up through the gears, then you almost got to play nice with some of these guys who don't have the damage who are trying to win this race.
Well, you got to move. You cannot hold up traffic, man. That's not going to work. And he just didn't want to go high. He didn't want to give up those positions. So instead, there goes the rest of the field.
Yep, and he paid the price for it, as the 65 of Stoner is going to be able to slide through. And right now, our scoring is showing us Chase Berry, potentially the leader up front. Hubchak, so close from getting the win here in the sprint race in Daytona, but just wasn't out front when the caution came out. It was basically a drag race coming down into turn 1 there for the lead.
Yep.
Well, he is going to be happy, and, it's good to see from up here in the booth after seeing how close he came at Talladega a couple weeks ago, leading off of turn 4, getting spun through the tri-oval. But tonight, it's going to go a different way as Chase Berry comes across the line to get and score the win here in the sprint race in Daytona. That is a big win for that 17 car. I wonder if he's going to put off going to bed for a little bit, Big Al. Second place is going to be the 7 of Evan Hubchak. Jay Bass coming home in third. Laura Wiseman in fourth. Sean Johnson in the 32 is going to be scored in fifth. This field works their way around. Looking for that 11th place finisher. I got Dan Ott in the 29, involved in a wreck just a few laps ago. He was going to be the lucky 11th place finisher. He's going to be the pole sitter for the feature. But we'll step away real quick and get another quick word from our sponsors. We'll be back with an interview and for the starting grid for that feature race. Welcome back to Daytona after a tumultuous and chaotic sprint race, to say the least. Chase Berry coming away as the winner, but we got up here in the booth with us Evan Hubchak in the 7 Palm Rat Ford. Evan, you got a copy, buddy?
Got you guys.
So close from getting that win. What are your thoughts after what was essentially a drag race going down to turn 1 for the win?
Yeah, I didn't expect the field to wreck in the tri-oval on the restart, so just bad timing. Was trying to back off a little bit to get Jay to suck up to me for a push, and yellow came out, and I think he had me by a nose. So it is what it is. Very, very happy with the point haul. Normally I finish like 26th in these races, so second is much better.
So what's in the air or what's in the water that has made this such a crazy race so far? Basically, considering the past events that we've had here in Daytona and Talladega, you usually don't have this level of chaos to it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. We were talking about that in the chat. Thought it was bumpy Daytona, but no, it's smooth Daytona, so it's not that. Uh, yeah, I'm not sure why people can't hold a lane.
Well, going into this feature race, you're going to be starting in the 10th position, but after being up front and leading for a good portion of this sprint race, what is the plan on board the 7? Who do you think you might be able to work with, and what is maybe the pit strategy that's going on in that brain of yours?
Yeah, I try and get to the front. Front was the place to be, it seems. So I'll try and get up there quickly and safely. Yeah, there's some fast guys in front of me, so we'll try and catch a bumper and go from there.
And for, well, congratulations on your second place finish. Is there any love or shout outs you'd like to give before we cut you loose?
Not Jimmy for handling the league. You guys for doing a great broadcast. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you as well. That was Evan Hubchak in that 7 car. Big Al, that was quite a show that they put on. Do you think this feature race might be a little bit more of the same, or it might be toned down just a little bit?
No, I think you have to advance the throttle forward for the feature. You've already came and set the bar. The bar is set, so now we got to go ahead and race the car.
The bar has been set, and now we just got a little extra element thrown into it with that pit stop that's going to be coming in the middle of it. We've seen that pit stop play a big factor a couple weeks ago at Talladega, really ruined and really made some guys' races. And here we go with another one again this week. Everybody's going to be taking just a little bit different approach to these next 32 laps. So looking at the starting grid here, starting to line up on the pole for this feature race is going to be Dan Ott in the 29. Next to him, Steve Vest came away with a 10th place finish in that 60 truck. He's going to be starting in second. In third, Kevin Parrish, a good comeback for the 69, came from a wreck back up through to finish third. Robert Brobst, another one, came from a wreck back up, and he is going to be starting in the 4th position in that 5 truck. Definitely one to watch. Chris Winslow in the 45, a good finish. He's going to be starting in 5th. Stam Stoner, he is the one that's going to be one also to keep an eye on in that imposter scheme of the 65. He's going to be starting in 6th. I'm looking at the wrong I'm looking at the wrong lineup. Sean Johnson's going to be starting in 7th. Laura Wiseman in that 84 with a top 5 finish in the sprint, going to be starting in 8th. Jay Bass came across the line in 3rd. He's going to be starting in 9th. Hubchak is going to be rounding out that top 10 in 7th.
Yeah, there you go, your winner, man. Chase Berry starting off in the 11th spot. Tom Went in 12th. 13th place is going to be the main man, Johnny Rapp. 14th is going to show you Benson Weaver. 15th place, Ron Campbell. Brandon Carlin, 16th. Joe Capernol in 17th. 18th place is Mike Thompson. Rounding out the top 20, Zachary Mitchell and Wayne Garland.
Starting 21st is going to be Sean A. Campbell. 22nd, Mark Royce, a tough race for the 44. Aaron Bray is going to be starting in 23rd. Daniel Foss, tough race for him as well. Led a lot of that race. He's going to be starting in 24th. Aaron Smith in the 70, one of your favorites tonight, starting in 25th alongside of Jimmy Moore in the 12. Did not get the finish he needed. Andrew White and Michael McCoy going to round out that final row, starting 27th and 28th. Don't think McCoy lined up for the starting grid, so we're going to have one truck short here. But with all the action that we had just seen in that first race, Big Al, I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to go ahead and get down with it, and I'm ready. Fast car's going to be up and out of the way, and we're going to be bringing you the last laps of this main shootout here.
32 laps in this feature race. Green flag is out. The chameleon, Dan Ott, gets up and through the gears. Front row is going to survive this time around without any black flags to give, but here comes Steve Vest in that 60, getting a big push from Robert Brost from behind. And he's going to be clear going down into turns 1 and 2. He's going to be able to hold on to that outside line, though, and keep the push coming from behind in that 5 truck as he's migrating himself down to the bottom. New leader, Steve Vest in the 60.
For the back through the field, everything seems to be in place right now. Got one truck that's up high, that's the 77, but everybody else is just getting low, trying to get in line. Maybe we're not going to have as action-packed of a fiasco as we did there in that first iteration. But I tell you what, hopefully a lot of these guys will be around so we can actually have a decent shootout towards the end of this.
But nobody likes to see it end under caution. As you see Stam Stoner getting a push from Laura Wiseman on that top line, trying to challenge the boys up front. It is still Steve Vest in that 60 leading, and he's got a teammate behind him with Robert Brobst in that 5. These guys have raced each other for a long time and know each other very well. They're ones to really stick to each other's bumper. I think that's going to be a dynamic duo with track position being so important up here at the front.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Big Al.
Big ripples towards the back of the field is just having trouble getting lined up. Seems like a lot of guys are opting out, trying to get back, but then you just have more guys falling back. That high line still not quite able to get organized to give us that type of side-by-side racing that we saw early on in the heat race.
We got some big players up there in that top line. You see Jimmy Moore, Aaron Smith, Ryan Campbell, a couple really good trucks up there. But they keep peeking, trying to make it 3 wide as that bottom really seems to be the strong line here at the moment. As Brobst and Vest are going to pull away with Dan Ott, Kevin Parrish in line behind them. And that top line just doesn't have the momentum in it right now, the challenge.
Nope, they got to get it organized. And the one thing you're going to need to get that done is going to need trust. And maybe you build that trust here throughout the 10 laps of this race or 16 to figure it out. But you're going to have to do something soon. And these guys are going to have to they're going to have to get uncomfortably comfortable.
Parrish is going to move up. Yeah, moves up in front of Stoner right there, trying to hijack that line up on top of him. Is they're going to get a little bit of momentum as that separates some of these trucks on the bottom side.
And, you know, this is the situation they have where you got guys that they're kind of shell-shocked. Nobody really wants to get out here and be racy. Everybody is scared of what took place in the last time. But you have to go hard, though, right now, because if you let up, you're going to get back in that same situation again where you're going to have trucks that are getting run over.
Stoner, a big wiggle out of the 65 as he is all over the back of Kevin Parrish. The momentum's on the top line now as we have a new leader up front. Kevin Parrish getting the push from Stoner in the 65. And here comes Aaron Smith in that third line. Keeping it a little more clean this time around, Big Al, but there's still a lot of trucks moving around.
Yeah, definitely. I think now you're going to have some trucks trying to shuffle up to the high line, but it's just a matter now of who do you trust? And obviously there's a lot of distrust going on down there right now, and we're going to have to heal from that as we had ourselves a 4-wide situation there almost.
Yeah, Steve Vest able to get to the back bumper of Parrish. Here comes Wiseman up top with getting a huge push from Aaron Smith. Moore is going to drop out of lines and get into that middle. But Wiseman was the leader at the line, getting a big push from the 70. Jimmy Moore trying to challenge for the lead. He's going to pull down in front of Kevin Parrish. And there goes Smith with the move on Wiseman up the middle as well.
Yeah, Wiseman found herself in a situation where she is really going to have to throttle down. There's nowhere to hide out here right now. And for some of these guys up front that might have wanted to kind of take it easy, no such luck, because when you got these guys pushing you, you have to perform. And we saw that when the 65 was shoving that 7 truck. So I mean, yeah, it's race time.
Is definitely race time as across the line they going to be going to finish lap 6. Still a long way to go in this race. Wiseman now up top getting the push from Wayne Garland into 35. We are still 3 wide for the lead. Any one of these trucks and any one of these lines can break away. Wiseman up front though.
Yeah, there's just nowhere. I mean, you just have to keep the hammer down right now.
One thing we are seeing, they are keeping it together. It's what we want to see right now. Some clean and green racing as the 60 of Steve Veths bails out of line. He's going to be going to the back. He's seen enough of this up front.
Unsubscribe, he says.
Yeah, most definitely. As Garland goes to the front now after a push with Aaron Smith. Wiseman going to stick with that third lane up at the top with Campbell behind her. But on the bottom, it's Garland, Smith, Jimmy Moore, the top 3 across the line.
I think Wiseman's going to have to come down at some point because they're not going to have the momentum that they need to keep that high line working. I think going to have to reconstitute there maybe towards the middle. But right now, that bottom line, the only line that seems to be working, is they're now definitely getting some much needed rest. Sorry, as everybody was white knuckling it there for a couple of laps for sure.
See Kevin Parrish, he's going to move up in front of Daniel Ott. Ott came away with a top 10 finish in that sprint race, looking for more here in the feature. He's going to be pushing that 69 contact in the back of the pack. Royce into Campbell. Around goes the 54. Some trucks bailing out onto pit road. And we are under caution for the first time tonight in the feature race. It took a little longer than expected there, Big Al.
Yeah, it still happened though, and that's exactly what these guys were kind of leery of. But sure enough, it did happen, and happened like almost right at the neck of the field. Not necessarily the head, but it was just right there, the first and second vertebrae.
See it here on the replay machine. Mark Royce getting hooked from Sean Johnson up into Ryan Campbell. And it's just another one of those instances there, Big Al. Trucks not holding their line, getting into the lines next to them.
And like you said, that's just going to make that day so much longer for a lot of other guys. But, you get to go back there. A lot of guys are going to be able to try to fix some of this damage if it's not too bad. And if it is bad, you got a fast repair. You just got to have a very, very short memory on this. And you got to be able to get back out there, man, and just try to reset. It just seemed like a lot of people were trying to not kind of get caught up in the hype.
The trucks coming down onto pit road this time around. Going to be making that pit stop, getting it out of the way. This should be enough to put them towards the end. And that takes away that threat of a green flag pit stop as we're riding on board with Sean Johnson. Just not holding that line up top, gets into the back bumper of the 44, and around they go around them. And like it happens here at these plate tracks, the guy who causes it doesn't necessarily get involved, but there is a trail of blood a mile long behind him.
Yep. That'll be something they have to talk out over the radio.
For sure. As the truck's leaving pit road, Wayne Garland did not make that pit stop. It's going to be a little bit of an interesting strategy, 4 to 35, maybe hoping for an abundance of cautions to where he doesn't need to make the pit stop, but he did not come down. He's going to be the leader up front. Behind him, Aaron Bray, Tom Wink beating the others off of pit road. Zachary Mitchell and Ryan Campbell round out that top 5. We're going to be going green this time around if the field can get lined up in time. That's going to put us with 22 laps to go. Now, Big Al, you know better than anybody, 22 laps, a whole lot can happen in that time frame.
I mean, there's a lot of racing left to be done here at Daytona, and drivers, not everybody's going to make it, unless you really start to kind of figure out what works to get around this place. And right now, I think that's going to be patience and distance but I don't think we're going to get either one of those. I think we're going to go back, and it's going to be hard racing. I'd like to see that high line get established. Maybe get 3 wide here a little bit, just see if we can save some gas and have some fun for a while.
We got some trucks, some stragglers in the back not getting lined up correctly, so we're going to add a lap this time around. Allow them to fully get caught up. As some trucks take that opportunity to come back down pit road, it's going to be Tom Waite getting himself out of this mess. As Zachary Mitchell and everybody's going to be able to move up a row on that inside line. It's what they wanted to see. But man, we got a whole new different picture up front with some of these different runners right here with the 35, 11, the 23 now. Some of the big runners up at the front of this pack.
Yeah.
Another good run, though, for that 70 of Aaron Smith, keeping all 4 corners on the truck. There's still a long way to go here in this race. Anything can happen, and any one of these trucks can win. But being up front after starting as far back as he did, it's a pretty good moment here for that 70. Pretty good momentum, especially coming off the double wins last week.
Yeah, you gotta love it. But here at Daytona, man, this could be anybody's race this week. You just never know how this thing is going to stack itself up. Could be a battle of attrition. I mean, we just did see our first caution here. 12 laps into it.
Well, what did they breed, Big Al? The cautions, what did they breed?
Oh, cautions breed cautions.
They breed cautions like rabbits, especially here at Daytona.
Cautions, yeah.
I think this race can go one of two ways from here on out. Everybody's got their pit stop done, bar the 35 truck, but it could, everybody can all get in line, get themselves situated, and make a run at it at the very end of the race. Or it's just going to start off like that sprint race was, and they're going to go balls to the wall, hammer down, 3 and 4 wide off the jump. So we'll see what the mood is in the pack as the pace truck car moves itself around. Going to be going green with 21 laps to go. In 21 laps, you can go from the back to the front, and you can go from the front to the back. So anything can happen. Any one of these guys can come away as the winner. The 35, away Garland, leans him down into the restart zone. Not a good restart out of him. Here comes the 11 of Aaron Bray. We got a wreck towards the back of the pack. The 77 sliding through the grass. The 83 of Daniel Foss also went around. We'll have to check that out. Once we get situated, we are still under green. And that's going to break up this pack a little bit, Big Al.
Yeah, looks like that 83 truck just kind of spun out and kept going. But hey, look, maybe one good thing for him is he'll kind of be back there and miss all the excitement that's definitely going to happen up front.
Aaron Bray going to be leading off of turn 4. Campbell right behind him. We got about a 10-truck pack right now has broken away because of the checkups in the middle of the pack for those wrecks. So right now, that 11 truck looking pretty up front. He started the feature race at Talladega on the pole. He didn't last very long in that P1 position, but here he is, P1 here in Daytona, up 22 spots from his starting position. Pretty good positive momentum for that 11. Is he able to hold on to it up front is the question. Here comes Jimmy Moore, one to always make an aggressive move in the pack. He's going to pull up in front of Wayne Garland and push Zachary Mitchell in front of him. This bottom line's nice and broken up, though, Big Al.
Yeah, I actually like the fact that we got 2 definitive packs here because this is going to give everybody the room that they need to actually settle down, kind of embrace for the race pace that we're definitely going to need if we're going to try to have this thing play out like it should. Nobody wants to pace. Everybody. Oh, there it is. 23 gets spun around. He gets off the bumper to 12.
Second pack's got to check up in time, and they do. We saw it go wrong there earlier in the race for the second pack, but Zachary Mitchell goes from the lead to the garage in about 100 yards. We check it out here on the replay. Moore making a move to the inside. The 23 goes down to pull in front of him, and it's just too late. spins himself across the nose of the 12 truck, and up into the pack he goes. And Chris Winslow in the 45 takes a huge hit to his chances, T-boning that 23 as it comes across the racetrack. You see it happen here a lot, Big Al. Somebody go down and make a move on the truck in front of them, and the truck in front of them tries to cover it off, and it's just too little too late. Riding on board with Jimmy Moore here. He gives the push to the 23, going down into one, goes to make the move. The 23 sees it, but it's just too late. Spins himself across the nose of the 12. Can't really put that one on Jimmy. And the 23 definitely went for a ride. 45 also involved there. And we were in a good position with the pack all nice and broken up. Had about a 10 truck pack, and there they go, wrecking yet again. It's caution number 2, and this feature race comes out.
It's my fault, man. I really shouldn't have said anything, but I did kind of talk about green flag laps.
Well, there are a couple trucks that needed this. The 83 and the 77 who were victims of that restart crash. They're going to be able to come down, catch the field, get some damage fixed if they have any. And the 35 was also looking for this caution as he still needed to make his pit stop. As we have a lot of trucks coming down onto pit road. I believe they're just topping off on gas as that first fuel number was pretty tight from the first pit stops, and just about everybody coming down this time around. How is it going to shake up on the pit exit is the big question. See fuel only for the 70 and the 12.
You can do that on these tracks here at Daytona. You really can kind of forego tires, if you will, and just stop.
Especially if we had taken them that first pit stop.
Yeah, and I've also seen the strategy of taking left sides here.
The left sides tend to wear more than the right sides on the super speedways, as one truck stayed out and moves himself up to the lead. That is Kevin Parrish in that 69 truck, and he's somebody who made his debut in this series last week at Barber and really came out strong out of the gate with 2 podium finishes in both the sprint and the feature, really making a statement. He is somebody to watch out for on the road courses, and judging by the racing here tonight, he is somebody to watch out for on these plate tracks as well. Maybe looking at a new championship contender for maybe even this season or seasons to come, as one truck not here tonight is that 14 of Joseph Klein. So he is going to take a hit in the points no matter what, just not being present here tonight for this race. We're going to be coming around to 1 to go this time by Jimmy Moore. Going to be lining up in second, Aaron Smith in third. Sean Campbell. It's going to be Sean Campbell in fourth in that 54. Sam Stoner in fifth. Dan Ott in sixth. A lot of good trucks still in this race. I don't think many of them have used that fast repair. So we're still going to have plenty of trucks left to get at it, as we're going to be going back green with 15 to go.
I'm only showing 4 trucks that have currently utilized their fast repair. That doesn't mean that's actually correct or factually correct, but that's just what I have here, as we're just slightly over halfway.
What car numbers you got?
All right. Fast repair utilization, we're going to go with Chris Winslow in the 45.
That makes sense.
We're going to go with Sean Campbell in the 54. We're going to go with Daniel Foss in the 83. And then I'm showing Benson Weaver in the 1. But those are the ones.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. Those are all trucks that were involved in the first crash or in that second one. We saw Winslow really take a big hit to the front of his truck when the 23 came back up the racetrack there. And we've seen it all over this pack tonight. We've seen Rex kick off in the back. We've seen Rex kick off in the middle. We've seen Rex start in the front of this pack like the last one. We've seen them on the restarts. We've seen them when they're up to speed. Who knows when it is going to happen again? And that's what I would be thinking of if I was in one of these trucks up front. As one thing I see on the screen right now is we got 2 yellow submarines out there, and imposter syndrome going on for Sam Stoner, trying to maybe carry over some of that speed that the yellow paint gives Aaron Smith on a weekly basis.
Now, we're in that. This is a very precarious part because, we still have 15 laps to go, and 15 laps at Daytona. You're setting up for something. So that's not just a walk around the park. It's almost too soon, but it's soon enough.
See some confusion there in that second line. That's not going to help Jimmy Moore as the green flag waves. Kevin Parrish gets up through the gears. Aaron Smith on his bumper. And that top line, it was not organized coming down into the restart zone. Got to get that done, especially after 2 laps of caution.
That 12 truck's going to shift all the way down. He's going to take a spot in that bottom row, and that's going to leave that high line really desolate.
Yeah, fighting for its life up there. You see him working down the backstretch now. Kevin Parrish still leading Aaron Smith. Your top 2 finishers from Barber find themselves first and second here in Daytona. A track that couldn't be any more different from Barber, but the front runners remain the same here at this point in the race. Sam Stoner pushing the 70 behind them as the pack starts to accordion back into each other as they get back up to speed. Jay Bast leading that top line with Evan Hubchak behind him.
Oh, 7 trucks in the air.
Yep, crashing.
I don't think he filed a flight plan.
Flagman not willing to throw it, and there goes the caution yet again. Chase Berry and Hubchak, your top 2 finishers from the sprint race, involved in this one. Kind of weird one there, Big Al. Looks like maybe Chase Berry goes top for the pass, and Hubchak just doesn't give him the room, and they just get into each other. You're going to see it play out here on board with Sean Johnson. It's been close to just about every wreck here tonight. And you see Hubchak that comes up, yep. Also involved in that wreck was the 45 of Chris Winslow.
Again,
he was one that used that fast repair, as Big Al noted. So he's going to have to get that done the hard way. As Barry, your winner from the sprint race, goes to the outside. Hubchak tries to cover him off, and into the wall they go. They both do a good job keeping it up there, though, minimizing the damage to the pack. But they're going to be carrying some damage on those trucks, that is for sure.
Don't get like this. We got plenty of caution laps to get that damage fixed.
Very true. 2.5-minute caution laps to go around. So we're going to step away for just a quick break while the caution is out, and we'll be back with the re-racked field for the finish of this feature race.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything.
Welcome back to Daytona. Still under caution here. Kevin Parrish, the leader up front. Aaron Smith in second. Sam Stoner in the second yellow submarine in third. The pack's working its way around. You see the 23 of Mitchell, the lucky dog. Now, Big Al, we were talking a second ago. You know, we could be lining up for more yellows here, but only so many laps to go. We're going to have about 10 to go at the drop of the green flag. I can't think that they're going to be keeping it clean and green from there, as the pay window's now opening.
Yeah, by any stretch of the imagination, with 10 laps to go, I mean, it's go time. Any racetrack that you're at, this Daytona being no exception, even though it's a longer track, those laps do count off pretty quick. So we were talking about this in the stories before the race. We talked about dance partners. The pit strategies kind of went out of the window. They were offered plenty of time there under those cautions to kind of work out whatever woes they had. Even a lot of guys were able to fix a lot of damage. But now you're back here, and this is where you really got to make it count. You know, you've been patient all day, but now do you go high? Do you go low? Do you risk it and be in the middle? You're putting a lot of faith in the guys' hands around you, and you're just going to want to be surrounded by guys that you can trust. So hopefully everybody's made their list and checked it twice, right?
Indeed, a new change for the restart procedure. We're going to be going to single file race control. Maybe getting a little tired of throwing that yellow flag. So a little bit of a switch up here with the single file restart. That's going to play into the hands of these leaders. Going to allow this field to kind of break up just a little bit as we are back under green. Going to have 11 laps to go here in Daytona. Kevin Parrish getting up through the gas pretty good with Aaron Smith on his bumper. How quickly does Sam Stoner pull out to make a move? And here comes Smith with the move himself, trying to get around that 69 truck. Which line does Stoner go with?
Yeah, everybody's got options just like that. They're leaving the leader on by himself on the bottom. Is now he's going to find himself sitting in the third spot. But up top there, that line now getting organized itself. That's going to give us the competition that we need two abreast. Top line actually getting a little bit going there faster than I thought it would have, especially after a single foul start.
Bass with some big momentum, able to get himself to the front of the pack with Jimmy Moore pushing. Kevin Parrish is going to move up into that top line as well to help those two in front of him. But at the line, Aaron Smith was leading by just a nose. Who's telling who's going to be leading next time around?
Yeah, help's coming. And just like that, we are all knotted up again, 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through. Trucks seem, hopefully, everybody's settling down, but I'm telling you, they're still bobbing and weaving pretty good down there.
Moore's going to make a move to the inside. Bass is going to covering off. It went better this time around than it did with Zachary Mitchell as Moore and Jay Bast are leading this pack going down through turns 3 and 4. And Jay Bast is one of those drivers who's in this league week in and week out, comes away with good finishes. He won a sprint race here at Daytona last season, trying to grab another one in the feature, but Moore is going to pull out for the move. Help from Aaron Smith, not able to get it done as we got another wreck in the middle of the pack there. Yet again, we are back under caution here at Daytona.
Yeah, I'd start somewhere around the 3 truck of Andrew White. I saw him take flight. Not sure where he was going.
See it on the replay machine. The 3 truck just checking up from the pack. 60 of Vest getting into him. 5 truck of Robert Bropes involved as well. Looks like just like our first wreck here of the night, Big Al, just the checkup gone wrong.
Yeah, those phantom checkups.
See, they were squirrely in the middle of that pack, and that works its way to the back. And when the 3 truck lifted, the 60 did not, and just contact gone awry as we go on board with the 3 truck here.
Look at us. We're just rolling on through this thing, buddy.
Oh,
I mean, we got 7 to go. Be 5 laps to go at the line. Right? Is that what I'm saying?
And we should have 5 to go maybe at the restart. Yes.
Yeah.
I got 7 to go this time by.
Now I'm wondering there, do we get a double? Because I think we got restricted to a single line restart back there at Talladega as well. But then we went back to double again. So do we get another double or we get another single? How's that going to play out?
We might just get another single just because that restart looked like it went a little better. Another truck involved in that, the 45 of Chris Winslow, has not been able to avoid him tonight. That is 3 wrecks in a row for the 45 being an innocent victim in. Has not gone his way.
the dent magnet.
The 3 truck of white got some big damage as well. I think he might have already used that fast repair as he was involved in that first wreck. We come across the line, 1 lap to go on the pace car. Looks like a single file restart yet again here, Big Al.
Oh, single file restart. 5 laps to go. Well, that gives you a lot to think about.
Yeah, 6 laps to go. You know, we saw it the last time around when they would go single file. The leader struggled just a little bit when he got to that clean air coming down the backstretch, and they all ganged up on them from behind. And with the single file restart, the leader's able to get a little bit better of a jump than he normally would. So Jay Bass might be sitting here in the, might just be a sitting duck coming down that back straightaway. And he's got some aggressive drivers behind him. Jimmy Moore, not one afraid to make the move. Aaron Smith, coming off of 2 wins last week in Barber. Stam Stoner, the favorite, running with that yellow paint. He's feeling good with that yellow machine. And then it's Kevin Parrish in 5th. And any one of these guys could be leading coming down the backstretch. Well, 6 laps to go, Big Al. I think we're teeing up for another short run, possibly. How long do you think they make it? Do you think they make it to that white flag, or we'll be sitting here behind that pace car before that?
I think that pace car is going to have to stay running. They might want to top it off, too, put some gas in that thing just so we got it on hand.
Yeah, I'm about to say the same thing. It might be running out of gas soon. Seems like that pace car has been up front more than anybody else tonight, but he's going to pull off here at the moment. 6 laps to go from the feature. Jay Bass, your leader. Green flag is out. Pretty good jump for the 53. As that checkup reverberates towards the back of the pack. This field's going to be plenty spread out as they get to that backstretch, but what's going to happen up front is a different story. Mark Royce pulling down to the inside of Kevin Parrish for 5th. Not what Kevin needed. He's going to be on the freight train to the back, and here comes Jimmy Moore with help from Aaron Smith to the front, side by side with Jay Bass, who's getting the help from Stam Stoner. But those 2 up front clear themselves, take the lead for the 12 truck.
Everybody shuffling, trying to find a spot to get in, looking for somebody that's faster than you, somebody that you can push. Yeah, everybody finding new dance partners. Yeah.
Yeah, now the dance partners have a chance to get together and make a run to the finish. 5 laps to go at the line. It's still Jimmy Moore up front, but this pack is closing back in on itself. There's going to be some momentum coming from the back. Ryan Campbell leading a line that's gone to the top. Mark Royce in front of him. How far up are they able to get with the momentum that they have? A couple more trucks moving up in front of them. It's Kevin Parrish in the 69. That's going to slow down their momentum, though, as Royce bounces back to the bottom. Coming to the line, 4 laps to go. Seems a little calm out there at the moment, but they are packed up there on the bottom. Johnny Rapp making a move to the outside of Royce, but no one behind him to go with them. Going to be waiting for Ryan Campbell and Kevin Parrish to get there, but they're not there just yet. That second line struggling to really form itself.
Watching that second line form, wondering if it's a little too late. Johnny Rapp going to be up top, leading the fray, trying to get sucked up to the front as fast as they can, just not finding any help.
Mark Royce moved up in front of Johnny, knowing that if he needs a shot at the front, he's going to have to make that top line work as they are hooked up together now. Johnny is known to be a good pitcher, but he puts himself out of line. That's going to kill the momentum of the top. They came across the line, 3 laps to go, and now Rapp's going to find himself up against the wall alone. 3 wide, that's not going to work out for him. But one person that's loving to see it is Jimmy Moore and Aaron Smith up at the front. As here comes Garland out of line. He's going to get a push from behind of Daniel Ott. Sean Johnson. Here comes that second line. Do they have enough momentum to challenge the 2 front runners? Coming back around, it's going to be 2 laps to go for Jimmy Moore. One more time around to get the white flag, and we can keep that pace car on pit road. But do they make it around? Garland getting a big push from Ott down into turn 1. They're still somewhat separated, though, not able to get alongside Aaron Smith of yet. But do they have the momentum going down the backstretch to get there? You see him closing on your screen. Here comes that 35 of Garland. He's going to get alongside of Aaron Smith into 3, but nowhere near Jimmy. That's going to allow Jimmy to make the move and throw a block if he needs to, as they are side by side for second, coming off of 4. Do they get to the line for the white flag?
It'll be 3 wide all the way around this next lap, if it should go that far. Oh, there's an accident at the line. The 28 truck, he's going to find himself high and around. We're still going. The white flag is out. This is a race back to the start-finish line. The winner is going to be crowned here. The next flag will end this, and that's going to be the checkered flag. Pair 4 is battling out front, sorry.
I was going to say, Moore getting a big push from Aaron Smith and Kevin Parrish. He's going to clear Daniel Ott coming off of turn 2 into turn 3. Where does Aaron Smith make the move? Does Parrish go with him? Aaron's not one to settle for second as they come off of turn 4. Parrish is going to make the move himself to the top. That's going to lock the 70 into the back bumper of Jimmy Moore. And coming to the line, Moore is going to win the feature race here at Daytona as they pile up behind them.
They're still wrecking.
They are still wrecking as this field moves itself across the line. But the cream of the crop rose to the top there as Moore holds off Aaron Smith coming to the start finish. As we get a look at it on our replays, Smith not able to make the move once they were 3 wide alongside of him. Push the 12 home as you see the contact behind them. Looks like Chase Berry, Steve Vest involved. Ryan Campbell, it looks like. That was quite a show there, that final 6 laps there, Big Al. I'm glad they kept it together and brought it home under green.
Yeah, indeed, man. Indeed.
See banging for position, Chase Berry, Sean Johnson. We try to see where this wreck kicked off coming to the finish line. 3 wide next to them. Bray, Campbell, wrap into the wall. Sean Johnson into Chase Berry. Sends him for a ride. Another incident kicked off there by the 32. At least it's coming to the line. See a lot of trucks involved as well. But this one, doing the burnouts, Jimmy Moore, the big winner of the feature race. A race of attrition it was. We're going to run down the finishing order for you guys right now. Jimmy Moore in the 12, your big winner. Taking home maximum points, putting himself in position to challenge for that championship. Aaron Smith, another great run out of the 70, comes across in second. Dan Ott, a good finish for the 29 in third. Wayne Garland comes across in fourth. Kevin Parrish, another top 5. 3 top 5s and 3 starts for the 69. Jay Bast finishing in sixth. Mark Royce in 7th. Chase Berry, your sprint race winner, comes across in 8th. Sean Johnson in 9th. Laura Wiseman rounds out that top 10.
That's going to have Sam Stoner in 11th. 12th place is going to be Daniel Foss. Coming across in 13th, going to be none other than Brandon Carl. 14th place shows Robert Brost. 15th place, Steve Vest. 16th place, Ryan Campbell. Mike Thompson comes across in 17th, Andrew White in 18th, and rounding out the top 20 is Johnny Rapp and Sean Campbell.
First tonight. 21st tonight is going to be Aaron Bray in that 11, Josh Coppernoll in 22nd, Hoopchak in 23rd, Tom Wink in 24th, Zachary Mitchell finishing one lap down in 25th, Chris Winslow in 26th, Brenson Weaver, McCoy also not having the races they need as they round out this field here tonight. Well, gonna possibly interview our third place finisher here tonight, trying to find him in the channels here. Come on, where you at, buddy? Well, I guess we'll send it over with Big Al. He's going to be with your second place finisher tonight, Aaron Smith.
Hey,
Oh,
Aaron
hi.
Smith. Aaron Smith, Big Al up in the booth. You got me.
Yeah, I've got you.
Hey, man, solid performance for you guys through the heat race, through qualifying, all the way through to the main event. How does it feel to have Daytona behind you and to know that you actually did it and kept your truck in one piece?
It feels fantastic, and yeah, it was an uphill battle. Front row jumped the start on the heat race. We had to take a penalty there, and then we crashed about 3 different times. Wrote the truck off and started 25th in the main event, but we got to the front quickly and we stayed there. So I was able to work with Jimmy there at the end to make sure we stayed at the front, and fortunately it worked out for us. It wasn't the best point today, but I'll accept it.
Well, definitely, it seemed that you guys were committed to Jimmy Steele. I mean, that Jimmy Moore. Sorry, that definitely would be what I would take from that. You had a couple opportunities, but you stuck right with that 12 truck. So, are you guys dancing buddies?
Yeah, I guess so. We always end up near each other at the end of these things, and we either work together or crash together. So, fortunately, we're on the right end of it this time.
Yeah, definitely. You know, a track like Daytona, anything could happen. You guys came here though, put together a solid run all the way through, bringing this thing home in second place. Who you shouting out for your overall dominant performance?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the folks at Road and Plate for having me again this season. Putting on it was definitely a race, but appreciate y'all for broadcasting, all the folks for watching, as well as the folks over at Yellow Vision for their support as well. It's only like 2 or 3 people in my chat, but we're chilling, having a good time. But yeah, well, I'll catch you next week.
All right, boss. As I always say, don't party too hard, and we'll see you next week.
10-4. Thank you.
Hey, that's Aaron Smith, our second place finisher. Back to you, Sean.
Yeah, don't have Dan in the channel right now at the moment, but what we do have is one better. We got Jimmy Moore, your winner tonight. Jimmy got a copy.
Oh, yeah, buddy. I sure do.
Well, we saw that sprint race did not go your way with a lot of different incidents going on for just about everybody in the field, but you made the feature. You really put it down tonight, taking away that win.
Yeah, I mean, I showed it in the heat that you can stick it around the top and just drive to the front here because of the way both of the bottom lines check. You just need a competent dancing partner. And Aaron and I worked together fantastic all night. Aaron and I really, I can't hype up Aaron Smith enough. I mean, yeah, he comes out here and he waxes all of us on these road courses, but he's the first one to help you get better. He wants you to be better. And he's just such a good dancing partner on these plate tracks, man. I mean, it became pretty clear going down the back there that if he made the move, neither of us was probably going to win. So he just tucked in, rode my bumper all the way to the finish, and we brought her home 1-2, and I'm very happy with that result. I told you guys after Talladega that I was going to make something happen here. And, it's been a long time coming for me to win one of these, plate races. Man, I've had some terrible luck. I'm so fast in all of them. And I just can never put these things together to bring them home to the end. But tonight it finally worked out. I got to say, though, I wish it didn't happen the way that it did because, man, I don't know about how that was for you guys, but that was pretty miserable for all of us. Not our best showing. Apologize for you guys having to work late, work some overtime tonight. But it was a good time. I really hope you guys were able to make that not as boring as it was for us, but just whole league as a whole needs to keep our standards up a little bit higher. But I'm still gonna take it. I've been wanting to win one of these things for a while. So happy we finally got to do it. I just want to shout out, Evan Hoopchak and Palmerack Golf for helping me put this whole thing on. Shout out Undercut and Overheard. My links are in the description. That's me and my best friend Megan. We do a bunch of racing content online. You can find it all there. We're fixing to do another relaunch here soon. Try some different things, see if we can find some stuff we like better. But we're doing the dang thing. It was a great race tonight. I'm very excited for Watkins Glen. I think I told you guys in our little broadcast chat, but Watkins Glen is my favorite track in all of iRacing, so I'm really hoping to put on a better showing there than I did here. So looking forward to getting out there next week and putting on a show for you guys.
You think you're going to have something up for Aaron Smith if he decides to roll that yellow submarine back out of the garage for next week?
Oh, man, it's going to be
Close
tough.
to him, Barber.
I mean, Aaron and I, we did was Slingshot, now Dart. We had a street stock league, and Aaron and I traded the lead for 19 consecutive laps at Watkins Glen. So I'm really hopeful that we'll be able to put something together and at least be competitive, So we'll play it by ear. I want to shout out my lovely wife. I know she's watching. Shout out my friends, my friend Kevin, my friend James. He's watching. I got a bunch of people back home supporting me. So glad I could finally get one done. I think if my math is mathing, which I'm looking at right here, and I'll show you guys here in a minute, I think I'm your points leader at the moment too. So I will absolutely take that. I couldn't be happier with the way this went for me.
Yeah, well, we're very proud of the show that you were able to put on for us. It was a little bit of a dragger with all the yellows, but at least we got incidents to look at. So it makes it we're able to make it interesting up front here no matter what. But a great run for that 12 truck. And you think you're going to be able to challenge for that championship now that you're able to close in on Klein just a little bit?
Yeah, I'm hoping my end goal is top 5. If I can hang on to a top 5. I mean, I'm looking at the top 5 right now, and these guys are all just so. I mean, even like a top 8. Looking at the points, I mean, you've got me, Joseph's obviously very fast when he's not wrecking me. Aaron's insanely fast. Dan Ott's the most consistent guy out there. Mark's incredibly good on these super speedways. Campbell is so fun to race against. Jay Bass, Kevin Parrish. I mean, we just have so much depth this season that I think top 5 for a driver of my caliber is going to be a huge success. So I'm really looking forward to carrying out the rest of the season. I think it's going to be a great show.
For sure. Next week will be definitely one to watch, whether you're here on track or at home. Are there any more shout outs you'd like to give? We know you got some out of the way, but anything else you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, obviously, you guys at the Regular Racing Network, you guys put on a hell of a show for us. I know you guys absolutely kept this thing entertaining despite our debauchery out there on the racetrack. Thank you guys. Thank you, Johnny Rapp, for, putting this whole band together to get you guys out there. I love going back and watching the races every week. It's definitely a big perk to have you guys on board. So, yeah, thank you to you guys. Thank you to everybody watching. Come join us, man. We're always looking to grow the field. I mean, we had a great turnout tonight, 28 trucks, started the heat. That's awesome. The trajectory of this league is just on such a good course right now. If we can clean up these plate races, Talladega wasn't bad, but if we can get rid of the nights like tonight, man, this is going to be one of the best shows you can watch in all of sim racing. And I firmly believe that.
Still a good show no matter what. Jimmy Moore, congratulations from the boys up here in the booth down to you. We'll have to get you out of here for tonight and catch up with you next week.
Absolutely. Good night, guys.
Good.
Alrighty, Big Al. We're going to possibly just take a look at our points real quick before we sign off to see if they are updated or not. I know last week they weren't updated at the end, but here we are. New leader up front, Jimmy Moore, able to close in on Klein, who missed the race tonight. New points leader, Aaron Smith, also able to close in. He's only 12 points back. Daniel Ott making his presence known in that 4th position. Big Al, a little bit of a shuffle up front here.
Yeah, indeed, and I think it's just going to shuffle a little bit more. Like we said, we're getting ready to head out to Watkins Glen, and then we'll be back to Michigan. So there's going to be some opportunity for some different guys to maybe move up in the points, and maybe for some of these guys to move down. We'll see.
We will see. Most definitely Watkins Glen next week will be one to watch. I think that's going to cut it from everybody here at the Regular Racing Network. Road and Plate Palm Brat Road and Plate Truck Series with a great race here at Daytona with plenty of incidents to go around and a great finish to both of the sprint and the feature. Looking for more next week from the twists and the turns of Watkins Glen International. Thank you for everybody for checking us out tonight, and we'll have to catch you all next week.